There is a strange idea that there is nobility in tolerating, or better yet, enjoying humor that attacks who you are, what you do, or how you look. That with free speech comes the obligation to turn the other cheek, rise above, laugh it all off. We often see this when comedians want to joke about race, sexual assault, gender violence, or other issues that people experiencing them don't find terribly funny. If you can't laugh along, you are humorless, you're thin-skinned, you're a problem. I've stopped aspiring to be thicker skinned, and I can no longer expect or admire it in others, because sometimes people can't take a joke. In some situations, yes, we're humorless. If our skin gets too thick, we won't feel anything at all, which is the most unreasonable of expectations. And we won't know we've been wronged or wounded until it's too late. During the 2022 Oscars telecast, the comedian Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's closely shorn hair. "Jada, I love you," he said. "G.I. Jane too. Can't wait to see it." The audience, including Mrs. Pinkett Smith's husband, Will Smith, laughed, but she rolled her eyes and her face fell. Her thick skin cracked. You probably know what happened moments later. Mr. Smith walked onto the Oscar stage, slapped Mr. Rock, returned to his seat, and shouted that Mr. Rock should keep her name out of his mouth, including an obscenity for good measure. The laughs became titters, became stunned silence. It wasn't clear if this was a bit or real life, and then it was all crystal clear. What we were experiencing was someone not taking the joke. We're seeing skin that had thinned to nothing.
I mean, as she said, though, he laughed at first. So I think what we were really seeing is the rolling pin.
Yeah.
And more than anything, just a heroic desire to bring back movie magic.
Yes. He goes here, it goes on and on. He goes, still, Mr. Smith most likely saw his wife's pain, and it's possible he was himself experiencing a moment of fragility, of thin skin. In his memoir, Will, the actor writes about the guilt he felt because as a child he could not protect his mother from his father's abuse. Mr. Rock's jibe was not in any way the same thing as domestic violence, but I can see how Mr. Smith might not have been able to take that joke at his wife's expense, given the layers of context and public and private histories leading into that evening. Okay, so yeah, he's just mentally unbalanced. So yeah, like just don't make jokes about the mentally ill because they could snap at any moment. By the way, I saw a clip that was like during this like Oscars roundtable where like it was like for Vanity Fair or Hollywood Reporter or something. They do these like round tables. They bring in all these like esteemed actors and they have like a little convo, a little coffee clatch or whatever. And it was a clip someone was sharing just about like what's going on in Will Smith's brain. And he was telling an anecdote about like the first time a girl cheated on him. And he was like, I vowed to myself that I would never let that happen again. And I would never let it happen again by becoming the world's biggest actor.
Mission achieved. It never happened ever again.
No one ever found out about it.
And it's funny, it's like, because Michael Caine was sitting at the table with him, and if you find the clip, you can see Michael Caine's reaction to that after Will Smith said it, and it is, the look on his face is so funny, because I love the contrast between British and American actors, where it's like, the Brits, they understand it's just a job. They're pros. They show up, they say their lines, they do their thing. He goes, Master Wayne, I'm not gonna bury another Batman. And then he goes home. He's not still crying about fucking Batman. But like the American actors, they just get so in. It's this method acting thing. Everyone wants to be Brando, and it's just they're all so in their own heads that like they don't know where they really don't know where like the acting begins and ends. And
yeah, but that's why like a British actor will never be Morbius.
Yeah, that's very true.
You got to admit that it's
They couldn't dig deep enough.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the thing? It was a Michael Caine interview I heard like it's a while ago. It's like 15 years ago, but it was on NPR. And I always like Michael Caine interviews. I think everyone likes him.
Oh, he's great.
But he's awesome. But like he was talking about how he had to hide being an actor from his dad, and he's like, my dad thought if a man ate chicken, he was gay, so I couldn't tell him I was an actor.
That's like Richard Burton on the Dick Cavett show, and he was talking about he was the youngest of 9 brothers who were all Welsh coal miners, and he was like, yeah, all I wanted to do in my life was be a coal miner. And they were like, what? Not a world famous actor who's married to Liz Taylor, and he was like, no. The number one thing every kid in my town wanted to be was a coal miner. That was the coolest thing in the world. Fuck the Academy Awards.
It was, God, I mean, it's never going to happen again. Like working class and origin actors.
No, not even among British
That's
people.
sad.
They're all kids.
Yeah.
They all grew up in castles now. Like
Yeah.
all those fucking British actors now, all the young ones.
The entire cast of Game of Thrones and everything, like all their grandparents invented the black and tans and shit. I mean, Cara Delevingne's grandfather literally did. But
Yes, that is true.
yeah,
Oh my God!
It
Did you see her
sucks.
partying with swagged out Eric Adams?
yeah.
It was ASAP Rocky at the party for a credit card that you can use to pay rent.
No way that could go wrong.
That's the most evil idea
It's
I've
a
ever
solution.
heard.
Finally,
Especially-
somebody. We're always complaining about rent's too damn high. Oh, do you have a solution? Oh, rent control. Building public housing. No, credit cards
Put it
to
on
pay your
credit.
rent with.
Easy credit.
Boom.
Easy credit.
The best part, it's by Wells Fargo, who's never had any problem with residential related banking.
Oh God. All right, going on. Roxanne writes, I am trying to hold space for all those layers. Ms. Pinkett Smith's
Thank you.
exhaustion with being a target of humor, Mr. Smith's series of bad decisions, and Mr. Rock's trying to maintain his composure in the immediate aftermath of being
That's a lot of
target
space.
violence.
Where the hell is
That's a
she
lot of-
holding all this space?
God damn it. Unfortunately,
It's like when you're waiting for people at the movie theater and you put like 4 coats next to you. Eventually, people are going to be like, "Come on, dude, that's too many seats."
Unfortunately, the incident has become something of a. I mean, like, the thing is, I'm only holding space for movies. I'm only holding space for Mr. Smith and his bold act, like Mishima saying to the defense ministry. Another proudly heterosexual man who just wanted to defend the honor of the Emperor of Japan, or Miss Pinkett Smith. He goes, unfortunately, the incident has become something of a Rorschach test onto which people project their backgrounds, opinions, and affinities. And what gets lost in the discourse is that however disappointing the incident was, it was also a rare moment when a black woman was publicly defended. We are also witnessed an example last week of a woman forced to wear incredibly thick skin as she was left largely undefended. During Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court, that distinguished jurists endured all manner of insult, racism, and misogyny from Republican senators asking ludicrous questions that were really opportunities for grandstanding. Judge Jackson was applauded in many circles for her calm and composure. For many black women, it was a painful spectacle because we know what it is like to experience that kind of scrutiny, interrogation, and disrespect in personal and professional settings. We know what it's like to withstand scrutiny without intervention. We understood that the only way forward for Judge Jackson was to remain composed, stoic, impervious. We also noted that other than Senator Cory Booker, Democrats failed to... God, Will Smith, Cory Booker, these guys just love defending women. Democrats failed to protect
Part of their general
president's-
love for them.
Yeah. Democrats failed to protect their president's nominee. The Senate Judiciary Committee apparently valued decorum over Judge Jackson's dignity. Look,
Okay, so if she's
if I
saying if she's saying that Dick Durbin should have done a diamond cutter on Lindsey Graham, I 100% agree.
yeah.
Like
And the
just
thing is,
walked
like-
over and just drop kicked him. Yes, that would have been awesome.
And if you are like, if I was Judge Brown, like, yeah, like, whatever distinguished career you've had, like, yes, it would be a fucking nightmare to sit there and be talked down to by the most ignorant pigs on the planet. But in exchange for going through that ordeal, you get a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court, which by all accounts she is going to receive.
Also, one is a Supreme Court confirmation hearing. The other is a bit at the Oscars, and those are not they're not the same thing.
No,
I know everything is just blobbed into one thing. It's just content. It's just stuff you watch and react to with your lizard brain. But like, there are actual meaningful distinctions between these two events.
Thick skin was also on display at the 2022 Critics' Choice Awards when the director Jane Campion made the bizarre claim that the tennis stars Venus and Serena Williams do not play against the guys like I have to. Whatever led to that strange, unnecessary, and incorrect claim, Ms. Campion clearly had not planned her
it
remarks.
seems like it is correct. I mean,
yeah, it is correct. I mean,
it is correct.
I don't know. I mean, whatever. Like, I guess they were in attendance. And it was a joke that landed awkwardly. It seemed like it was a little bit overplayed.
I think she should
but,
be killed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we should kill her.
She should
Yeah,
be
no.
strapped to the muzzle of a cannon.
Yeah.
She should be strapped to the muzzle of one of those the things that fire tennis balls.
Yeah, I understand that like a lot of jokes don't land, and it was like in the spirit of fun, and she respects the Williams sisters. But I kind of think she should be put in an Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
She should be gibbeted and they should hang her body over the red carpet to get into the Kodak
Yeah.
Theater as a warning to others.
I'm trying to hold space for her as like a 74-year-old woman who made an awkward joke, but also the Williams sisters, and she needs to die.
I'm holding a space for her. That space, the black hole of Calcutta. That's where she should be put.
Time to die, movie bitch. It's my space.
It's like, when she won Best Director, they should just wheel out the Iron Maiden that she's currently inside of.
And it's shaped like an Oscar.
Yeah.
It's like a giant Oscar.
Yeah. I just want to thank all my collaborators, Benedict Cumberbatch, Kirsten Dunst. And could you let me out of this? The spikes, they're digging into my flesh.
No dice.
Sorry. But yeah, as cameras panned over to them, the Williams sisters smiled quizzically and maintained their composure. In the aftermath, Ms. Campion apologized the next day. They were gracious beyond measure. Their thick skin held up as it had in the face of myriad unspeakable insults, and as it will many times to come. It shouldn't be this way. Yes, these are all public figures. Oh, really? No shit. An imperviousness to criticism and ridicule is a necessity for celebrities or anyone in the public eye. But no matter how thick your skin is or how much wealth and fame and power you are cosseted, being the butt of a joke isn't fun. Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. Yes, being the butt of a joke is never fun. But when you have an insane level of wealth, power, and celebrity, it does kind of offset your bad feelings about it.
You'd think.
Because at the end of the day, you are going home to sleep on a giant bed of money.
Well, see, that's just it, is that so much cultural commentary now seems to exist to just collapse distinctions, meaningful distinctions, so that things like wild disparities of influence and power are completely obliterated. And we're all just people with hurt feelings, as if like there's no trade-off involved in that, or like that there isn't any difference between what happens to somebody who's, on the edge of poverty and struggling versus somebody who is the literally the most blessed human to ever live on earth. And that maybe part of being the most blessed human to ever live on earth is that those things that might, be the last straw for someone who's really struggling, maybe the very fact that you're that goddamn lucky will give you the ability to absorb a little bit better.
And
but
like,
no, like, even asking that is doing violence.
And like that's the thing is like, why have movies lost their cultural power? Why has celebrity lost its cultural power? Why has the glamour of celebrity been dinged so badly over the last, certainly over COVID? Once you started seeing these assholes on Zoom, it was all over for them.